Hi, everyone. Welcome. I am Celine Guerrero with the Harlingen EDC. I am the marketing manager, and today we're going to be discussing social media for small business. Presenting today is Sirem Fuentes, a social media specialist and small business consultant. Welcome, Sirem.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for having me, Celine. I'm really excited to share just a little bit about social media for small businesses, and I'm really, really grateful to be doing this.
Well, thank you so much. So let's get into it because there are a lot of questions, and right now things are shifting and changing, and we need to get a little bit creative. So let's go.
All right, so today we're going to be talking about how creating impact can happen daily. Let's get started. So let's talk about what you should focus on. There are 4 different things that I think that should be the main thing you should focus on. Staying consistent, sharing diverse content, taking advantage of tools available, and constantly interacting are the 4 things that I'm going to talk about today. I think a lot of people believe that social media is a very complicated thing, but once you take in just a little bit of information and understand these concepts, it's very, very easy for anyone, a beginner or a very well-versed social media person, to do these things. Creating an impact is as simple as doing a little work every day. So with a lot of people who do social media, you're going to get a lot of packed schedules that people don't usually feel they can insert social media into their day. And what I like to say is whether it's 15 minutes or an hour, it's very easy to create an impact every single day as long as you're keeping consistent. So learning these tools and these different things you can do and sitting down and saying, okay, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm going to sit down for 15 minutes and I'm going to work on my social media. It's a lot easier to think of it like that than just kind of try to figure out at the end of the day what you can post to help people see what you're doing. So create a schedule for yourself. Figure out what works best for you. So that means if I can do every day for an hour, that might be really different for you, and that's okay. Figure out what can work for you and then stick to it for as long as you can. Varying your content. I like to divide content into 2 different kinds. You have informative and you have entertainment. So obviously it depends on what type of business you're talking about. It depends on what type of business you're sharing. But really, no matter what type of business, I think that you should go from one to the other. Informing people what you have to offer, any information that you may have, and also treating people to a good laugh, having people enjoy themselves through your social media. So for example, on the left, we have a coffee shop who has shared exactly what can be done to help them during these times where things are changing. And on the right, we have just a simple meme, which is just kind of like words and pictures that kind of make you laugh. They're relatable, and they also talk a little bit about the content. So for the one on the right, we're talking about a pest control company. And so obviously you want people to still think about, pest control, but we're trying to also entertain and make sure that people remember to come back to our page because there might be something fun tomorrow or the next day. And varying between those is really, really great. Something else that I also think is once you start doing this, you will see which posts are liked more. It's just going to come with time. You'll see that some posts get 10 likes, some posts get 20 likes, some posts get a lot less likes than that. And then once you find out what posts get the most likes, then you've kind of found your niche. Oh, people really enjoy seeing this type of post. Maybe I should do more of those. And that's how you kind of start finding what you should be posting. It's important also for everyone to vary the type of content. So as you can see here, and as you saw on the slide before, there is text-based, which is basically words to give out that information. And then you can also focus on photographs and video, which are a great way to tell a story, tell your viewer what you would like them to know without having to actually say it. So by adding certain pictures or certain videos, you'd be able to get a broader audience who doesn't necessarily want to read. But it is important to know that you can use both type of contents. You can actually combine both type of contents, or you can use them separately, whatever works best for you and whatever skill base you're at. One of the most important things that I believe I get asked the most when I'm talking to people about social media is, where do I post? People get really overwhelmed, especially like here on the screen, you're seeing quite a bit of social media. At the end of the day, I always try to say, pick 1 or 2 that you can definitely understand. And then the rest of them, if you feel like doing a little research on them, then you definitely can, but you don't necessarily have to. I think something that you should do the research on, though, is to keep up with what is happening. So Facebook used to be like the main social media where everybody, especially businesses, were. And then slowly, Instagram started taking a huge part in the social media business scene. As we've seen lately, TikTok is kind of growing in the social media business as well. But I really think that Instagram and Facebook is where you'll find most people hanging out, and TikTok is more for like a younger crowd. But either way, there's so many different social medias. It would be good for anyone to be able to go look for them, but really pick one or two. I always say pick Instagram and Facebook. If you want to get really crazy, get a Twitter. But it's not super, super necessary for you to be on all of them. But if you can, it would be nice. Sometimes you can cross share. So if you make something for Instagram, you can share it all across all platforms if you want to. Or sometimes you can make a video for YouTube if you like, something more family oriented for Facebook, and then something just fun for Instagram. It really just depends. So taking a good little Google search, as I like to say, is a super easy way to get through those. All right, finding the right tools. I think a lot of people find themselves getting a little lost. Where do I even start? And we forget that there's so many tools that are either free or available already on the social media apps that we have. So the first thing that I'll talk about is insights. So if you have a business profile on, say, Instagram or Facebook, you'll be able to see exactly who your demographic is, who is looking at your posts, what age they are, the gender that they are, and where they're located. These are free to absolutely anyone who has a social media business account, especially on Facebook and Instagram, and on YouTube, I believe, as well, and Google. Most of the places have them. So basically, you can use this tool to find out exactly who you're hitting, and if you're not hitting the right people, then you can think, okay, well, maybe what I'm posting is really popular with women, but I'm really trying to find men age 45 plus to be able to come to my store. And so that way you can start gearing your information towards different demographic. So just think about who you want to sell to, and then you can look at these insights and kind of figure out, oh, am I selling to them, or do I need to do something different so that I can get the right demographic? The second thing I'd like to talk about this is programs that exist. So for example, I made this entire presentation on Canva, which has literally saved my life as a person who doesn't understand maybe Photoshop or doesn't really want to work with like crazier programs online. Canva is a computer, it's a computer program and an app, basically just online. And it can be free. You can get a business plan if you like. But it basically gives you content that's already made. You just fill in the information or the pictures. iMovie is the same except for with video. And it is a little bit more complex to use, but at the end of the day, you just have to like give it a try. And it seems complicated, but it's not really complicated once you give it a little bit of work. Exact same thing with Photoshop, except it takes a little bit longer. So these kinds of programs are readily available. Some of them are free, some of them aren't. But it just takes like a good trying to use them and then seeing if it's kind of like your style or if you'd like to try something else. And then lastly, there's plenty of applications that'll help you post online. So say you're a very, very busy person and you don't have time to make content today, you could easily get the Repost app and use somebody else's content. Obviously, ask them if you can, and share their post. So if it has similar type of thing, like, oh, hey, we're both talking about this particular product, we sell that at our store, let me repost this particular person's post. And that way you're creating content without actually having to make all the physical content. You can also use Schedugram, which is great for really busy people. I believe it's called Schedugram now, where basically you can line up every post that you could ever make. So let's say from Monday through Friday, I have 5 posts. I can make them all today, but I don't have time to sit down and make the post exactly this day. On those days, I could basically sit down and schedule them for the rest of the week. That way they're automatically being posted as I'm, living about my day going about my business. And Visco, I kind of laugh at Visco because I just added it in there because it's one of the easiest ways for me to make a regular picture look a little bit more professional. And sometimes that's all it takes from a business being taken seriously is, do they have a really nice picture? Is it crisp? Is it edited well? Just to make sure that everything that you are posting up aligns well with like the professionalism of your business. And there is so many different apps that you can use for that, but Visco is my favorite because they already have all these filters ready so that I can kind of just click and go, and then my post is up in a minute or two. The last thing is interactions and hashtags matter. One of the biggest things about social media that people forget is it's not about the media, it's more about the people that you're trying to connect with. And so it's important for you to comment constantly, respond to every message, use popular hashtags, and check out other business pages. So basically, you have to remember that behind the screen is going to be someone that normally you would go up to and shake your hand with. So you have to think about them as real people and how you would talk to them. So you would talk to them every single day, ask them how they're doing, check up on them, and you would go and do that with all your friends in real life. So basically take that same concept and go into social media with that same idea. You're talking to a mom, you're talking to a friend, you're talking to another business owner who's going through the same thing you are. And just remembering those types of things means you'll be able to connect them with them a little bit more. Also, I don't want to get into hashtags that much, but they are important to a certain degree. So if you could check out what other hashtags other businesses are using, if you can see people around your area, what type of hashtags they're using, and you can start implementing them in your posts, then you're more likely to be found by people who have the same likes and the same topics and the same type of content that you're producing as well. And that's about it, guys. I got a little nervous there. I like to talk about how it's important to keep trying, learn every day, and have fun with social media. It can be a really, really scary place for a lot of people, but at the end of the day, if you're trying to be on social media and if you're learning constantly about it and you're remembering to have fun with it, you're gonna be okay. It's gonna be a good time.
All right, well, thank you. I do have a couple of questions, just because sometimes a lot of different business owners or just people in general who are trying to have a presence on social media wonder about, social media is free, Facebook, Instagram, it's all free. How do you reach more people though? And is there a way to get more without paying, or is targeting and boosting something that you have to do sometimes?
I think once upon a time, it was really easy to get really, really big without posting and boosting. But as social media has grown, so has the amount of people on. So now you're competing with businesses who are sponsoring posts every single day. So I do say that if your business hasn't grown too much on social media, I wouldn't look past boosting a post or two and seeing how it does for you. The really cool thing about boosting a post is you can say exactly who it goes to, where they're located, the age, the specific gender if you're looking for that, and their likes and dislikes. So it's a great tool to use if you feel like your social media hasn't grown enough.
Yeah, it does get very granular once you do get into that. And so now what type of content what type of information should they be boosting? Is it depending on what they have going on with their business, or how does that go into play?
It definitely depends on if they're selling a product or if they're looking for people to come into their doors, or if they're trying to get people online. It really definitely depends on what type of business it is. But what I will say is this is going to be the first thing that people see about your business if they've never heard of you before through a sponsored post. So make sure that it's exciting. Make sure that it clearly states what type of business you are and that it's enticing for them to go, hey, I want to learn more. Hey, maybe I want this product. So I would say a lot of photographs, maybe some video, but most importantly, make sure that it's very cohesive to what you are, because people will be clicking on that to get to your social media.
All right. So I made notes while you're talking, and I think I'm going to hit on those 4 points that you mentioned right at the beginning. So let's go back to those. And number one, or, it doesn't have to go in any order, but these are the basics. Stay consistent, share diverse content, take advantage of the tools that are available, free, and some are not. But from my experience, there are very many different programs that are free, and constantly interact with your audience. So
yeah, so those are the main things that I would say. I think if anything, if you just can only focus on one, it's staying consistent. It is one of the most important things that you can do on social media, because creating a presence means that people are seeing you every single day, and that's the only way that they can trust you enough to buy your product or follow you, or be a customer for life. So staying consistent is one of the best ways to get people to trust your product, to trust you. And so if you're gonna maybe play a little bit with a few of them, I think that the first one that you should do is try to stay consistent. Give it 10 minutes a day, an hour a day, whatever you really can. It really will make an impact in the long run.
all right. Well, thank you again so much for giving us this great presentation and some really quick and fast tips on how to use social media for your business and how to better use it. So we will have CDEM's information in the bio, but thank you all for tuning in and have a great day.
Thank you guys. Have a good one.